just wanted to come on here to address some of the comments that were left below in the video that I made about the Civil War. And all I really want to say is some of you people, man, what in the hell has happened to you? I mean, when did we become a country who just casually talks about a civil war like it's some kind of a video game? Like a civil war is going to actually solve our problems. I just believe a lot of people don't actually understand what a civil war is or what it would involve. They just like to read something or hear it and then simply regurgitate what they heard. Let me just explain to you what a civil war is and what it would curtail. Imagine your friends and your family and your neighbors shooting at each other, trying to kill each other all the time. It's everything that you have ever known or ever loved just going to shit and burning down all around you. It's the worst possible fucking scenario that you could ever imagine. Life, like we know it today, it changes forever, instantly. And it never goes back to how things were. You see, you don't just have a civil war and then turn around, everybody puts their guns down and we're buddy-buddy, and you get to go back to your little job. That's not how it works at all. And another common thread that I saw in those comments that bugged the shit out of me was the whole immigration thing. Now, let me put this out there. I'm an American citizen. I don't own America, though. No one does. So I don't have the right to decide who should be here and who shouldn't be here. Okay? My job as an American is to simply take care of my family and uphold the laws and the values of this nation. Not to play gatekeeper or sit in judgment of anyone. And now I will say this, and I've always agreed with this, and I will always agree with this. Every country has a right to have its border secure. I agree wholeheartedly with that. But I don't have the answers to this situation, you know? But when I see people making comments about getting rid of people and about racial violence against somebody because they simply want to come to America and make a better life for themselves and their family, I have a problem with that, you know? And I don't understand where that type of a mentality comes from. What's wrong with that, you know? And I think I know, honestly, where it comes from. And a lot of people don't want to hear this and they're not going to like it, but I don't care. I'm going to put the shit out there. There is a certain segment of our society that has never had to compete for anything. Everything was just given to them. And now they might actually have to start competing. Well, they don't like it. So instead of actually dealing with the facts and the reality and the changing landscape within this country, well, what we get instead from them is hatred directed towards certain groups who they feel threatened by. But I don't know. Some of those comments, man, they're pretty harsh. They're pretty harsh. Let me touch on the immigration thing one more time, and then I'm gonna leave it alone. Mexican people are not the enemies, and they're not destroying America. Americans are doing a pretty fucking good job of that themselves, and we're already doing that long before the influx of illegals, as they're called. These people are just trying to make America work for them, just like the rest of us, trying to make a living for the family. Again, what's wrong with that? And I noticed too, I didn't hear all this Civil War talk until the country started having a lot more immigrants and things started to get more, how do I want to put this? Balanced. You know, the playing field was starting to get leveled a little bit. You know, everything that was starting to level the playing field, and I'm not going to go into it because I don't feel like getting into a big political discussion. But anyway, everything that was helping to level the playing field is being reversed by this administration anyway. So for the life of me, I don't understand where all of this hatred and this talk of civil war is still coming from. Why are we even still hearing it? People got what they wanted, right? So what are you still mad for? And I mean, come on, man. Let's see shit for what it really is. Let's be honest. Now all of a sudden we want to go back to the 1950s. Why? Why do you think that is? Why is it that we want to go back to the 1950s? Why not the 1940s or 30s or 20s? Why that time period in particular? The golden age, maybe? Oh, I know. The economic boom, so to speak. Let me ask you bluntly then, who was the 1950s great for? Because when I talked to my mom and dad about the 1950s, they said it wasn't great for them. But again, this country, this isn't anything new to me. I've seen this whole playbook before. When I was growing up as a kid in the Midwest, I saw this same ugliness infect people. I mean, it was rampant. It was everywhere. And I thought that had went away. I did. But in hindsight, I can see that it really didn't. Maybe as I got older, I don't know, I isolated myself from it. But I can see now that it just went underground and it metastasized. And now it's come back. And not only has it come back, it's come back with a vengeance, and it's still growing and it's still spreading. That is sad. There are times when I look at this country now, I take a look around and I don't even recognize the country that I grew up in and that I love. Everything seems to turn into a fucking argument. Everything is us against them. Everything is a pissing match. I mean, we can't even talk about, hell, fishing or football anymore without it turning into some type of political thing or a damn argument. And people, don't fool yourself. That's not a show of strength. And it's definitely not patriotism. That's just fear masquerading as anger. Patriotism, you love your country. Country above all. Not a person. Not gonna get on it. I have an older brother anyway. I was going to the Vietnam War. I have an older brother, and he served in the Vietnam War. He served two or three tours. And like a lot of those guys who came home from the war, he brought a lot of problems back with him. And we used to talk a lot. I find those kind of stories fascinating because at that time, we didn't have the internet. We couldn't see what was going on, really. I found it fascinating. But something that he once never has talked about? He never once talked about hurting innocent people. He talked about protecting people a lot and doing the right thing, even when he didn't have to, even when no one was around to hold him accountable. I can remember one particular story, and I'm not going to get deep into it, where there was a lot of currency, American currency, left around. And it was there for the taking, but he didn't take it. He turned it in. And what I need to know is where that type of mentality, where did it go? Because it used to be prevalent. I mean, it was everywhere. Because that mentality, that's the type of mentality that made our country great, that made it strong. That was the glue that held it together. That intestinal fortitude that motherfuckers are lacking now. And don't get me wrong, I understand being scared. Things are hard right now, and we don't know where the future is headed or what it holds for most of us. Let's be honest, the unknown always has been and always will be scary. You don't know what the hell to expect. But let me ask you this. When did being scared give you the right to want to hurt someone or make them suffer? The only thing I keep coming up with my mind on that is maybe we feel the need to inflict pain on or make someone else suffer because it makes us feel a little better about our own bad situation. But that's not who we are as Americans. At least that's not who I thought we were. We are the melting pot, remember? Give me your tired, your weak, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, yada, yada, yada. Remember all that? We're supposed to blend together as one. Diversity, as bad as people hate to hear that word, is what makes our country so great. But nowadays, oh boy, especially today, I see So many things, man, that make me wonder. And I wonder where we're headed as a society. I can clearly see where we are headed, but there's still hope. What I want to know is, where do we ultimately end up? Do we ultimately end up with anything that even remotely resembles a society? Because between hatred and tribalism and division and oh, don't forget artificial intelligence, people, truly don't know. I don't. I wonder. It bugs me to doubt my country. That really, like, that fucks with me. And I shake my head because I truly want us to survive. I want us to be like we once were in this country, how things used to be. Can we do that, though, is the question. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just rambling. I'm old, man. I live in a world that I don't understand, in a world that no longer understands me. But I can tell you that it's killing me inside to watch what's going on here. And I search and I seek and I read and I look for answers. But honestly, I don't have any answers. And I truly don't know how we fix these problems if we can't even treat each other with basic dignity like human beings. If you have any thoughts or comments or ideas, or you want to argue some more, drop it down in the comments and let's fucking get it on. No, I'm just playing. If you have any thoughts or ideas or comments on this, man, you want to make, please drop them down in the comments. I read them all and I try to reply to all of them. They're all important. Hell, one of you guys out there may have the answer. I don't know. But I know we do need to start extending a little more basic dignity, respect to each other. Respect. That's a good word. You don't have to agree with somebody. You don't have to agree with their viewpoint, their side of the political spectrum. Hell, you don't even have to agree with what kind of fucking shoes they wear. Just respect them. And if we gave each and every person respect, it instantly would be a better country. But hey, at any rate, as I always say, take care of yourself and take care of each other. That's especially important today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.